It is time for another creative dinosaur exhibit speed build for Jurassic World Evolution 2, this time for the Pyroraptor. Honestly though, you can use this idea for any species, you don't necessarily need to have the Dominion DLC. Mostly, this idea just makes good use of the new dinosaur wrangling mechanic, which is going to be really fun to see in the showcase at the end of the video. Hello Dinosaur Park Builders and welcome to the Pyroraptor Braid. And I'm starting on the parade part of the build, which I hope will inspire you for your own projects. As I said, feel free to apply this to any of your favorite species. It works with everything, honestly. So I've made this extremely elongated enclosure with a ton of viewing galleries on either side of it, which is going to be our parade. And I'm doing a little bit with the path. It's kind of lost on this map because of the permanent dusting of snow on top, but you know me, I like going overboard with path. It's kind of my thing. One of the other things that is my thing is torches, and a lot of them, but I feel like conceptually they are very appropriate for a Pyroraptor parade. So in between every single one of the viewing galleries, I put one of the torches. I love combining them with the concrete fencing because you really get like this illumination on the concrete, which enhances the effect of the torch in my personal opinion. Now what I'm also using is the decorations from the Dominion DLC. Now, by the way, as I'm placing these items, pay attention to the prompts at the bottom of the screen. I oftentimes get the question, why don't your items rotate a little bit after every single one item you place? Mine do, and it's very annoying. Well, as you can see at the bottom of the screen is that Control plus space toggles random rotation on and off. And unless I'm using Foliage, I'm always having it turned off. It keeps the item in the exact same rotation, which is just a lot easier to work with. If you're on console, the control for that will be different, but it will just say what you need to do at the bottom of the screen. Quickly, as I'm going through, I contemplated which fences I wanted to use, and I ended up doing the invisible fences, just so people can always sort of peek into the exhibits that's going to be on either side of it, but you can use whatever fence you want. And the same goes, going back to the decorations, by the way. Obviously, I'm making the most of the Dominion decorations that I have right now. You don't have to use the Dominion decorations, but I really wanted to add those in front of the viewing galleries. Now, all of those viewing galleries need to be attached, so really what's happening is that on either side of this elongated parade is going to be an equally stretched out guest section. And again, using a little bit of that signature path flair to give it a little bit more oomph. And also just a lot of decoration. So that's what I'm starting with right now. So I'm putting like a tree in front of every viewing gallery. And also, I decided to go for the DFW viewing galleries because I like that they're white. I feel like that's very fitting for this map, but they are very utilitarian in design, unfortunately, which is where these bushes come to the rescue. So I'm using these bushes to just basically obscure most of the building that the guests are going to see from this entry side of the building using these bushes. I think that that turned out pretty great. You could, of course, just use the Jurassic World galleries to avoid all of that. Here, I'm taking an extra step to make the entry points of these galleries a little bit more visually interesting and more guest appropriate, I guess, by again using that Dominion DLC decoration piece, which is the lantern. I really personally like how the Dominion pieces look, by the way, but for this, if you don't have the Dominion DLC, you could use some of the other light posts that we have in the base game. But I personally really like how this looks. I think it's very modern, very aesthetic. And placing even more of the Dominion DLC decorations. Look, it's my new toy, okay? I like playing with my new toy. It's shiny and it's new. It's attracting me right now. This first path section is done. That's like the traffic area, I suppose. But I'm adding like these little bits off to the side where we're actually going to be connecting the shops and the restaurants. But I don't want to have them directly attached to that first bit of path that we made. Again, because we want to keep the flow of traffic as efficient as possible. So I'm laying down an extra bit of path on the other side. What I'm doing right here, this filling in technique, you might be wondering, why are you doing it like that, going from the corners? That is to prevent some ugly clipping. If you're dealing with ugly clipping, there's always a way to get around it, and with these corners, that's how you do it. Just start from the corner and fan it out from there. And that's just a simple case of filling in the rest of the open space. Now I left a little strip of empty space between the two path sections, and I'm going to be filling that up with foliage and giving it a more random and natural look. There was definitely a temptation to just put planters over there in neat distancing and all of that stuff, but I figured we should go for a little bit more of a natural look. So I'm just basically going through one tree type at a time and placing them more or less randomly, spreading them out throughout this this strip that I've left open. And that's, I think, just the easiest and quickest way to create a more random foliage kind of look. And these open spaces that I'm leaving, this is the final part, I'm filling that in with the bushes. Also, the snow getting all dusty and flying up was really satisfying to me. I don't know what it was, but it just looked so pretty, and it made me look forward to winter, even though it's summer right now and it's hot and I'm melting and I'm miserable. But yeah, that's life. But yeah, I love that effect of the snow dusting up when you play stuff. So now back to our guest amenities. I'm putting 3 buildings on either end of it, so that will be food, drinks, and shopping. And as it just turned out, the big hotel fit absolutely perfectly, sandwiched in between those 2 sets of 3, so I could not resist. My OCD demanded that I fill that in with the hotel because it was just perfection. And then remembering that restroom need is a thing because apparently hotels and restaurants don't have restrooms, I put restrooms at the end of those guest sections. And also at the ends of those guest sections are the control centers with the Hyperloop connection between them. I said in my previous video that you could only have a Hyperloop connection on the first control building. I don't know what I was thinking. No, I think I tried it once and for whatever reason it didn't work, or I screwed up, so I thought it didn't work. As you can see, it definitely works. You can have as many control buildings as you want connected with the Hyperloop. And I thought that was an interesting way to connect the 2 opposite sides of this guest section and allow our guests to traverse between them. A really good alternative if you don't have the Dominion DLCs or you don't have the Hyperloops is to just have a little bit of monorail from one side to the other side. Now, speaking of one side to the other side, the parade connects one exhibit on one side to the other exhibit on the other side. So that's what I laid down the basis of that over there. And we interrupt our regularly scheduled programming to bring you more path and decorations. By the way, if you are enjoying these builds I've been showing you and you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We are already at 115,000 people, and I would love to have you join so we can all share our ideas and excitement for this game. I have a lot of projects coming that I think you will enjoy. And in the meantime, I'm placing even more parasols and watching the snow fly up, which I'm genuinely obsessed with right now, as it is over 30 degrees where I am currently. By the way, a popular question I want to quickly address is this a mod? Like, that is a general question that I get a lot whenever I'm doing something that is maybe just not standard in the game. Some people are really quick to assume that something is a mod, but even though mods do add a lot to the game, you can still make awesome things without mods, which I hope I've been able to show you with these builds I've been doing. This build and every other Jurassic World Evolution 2 build I've done so far is completely unmodded. This is just the vanilla game. So, you know, don't underestimate what you can make in this game with the tools it gives you, in combination with your own creativity that you bring to the table. Now, the final part of this build was putting down the buildings that allow us to populate our parks with guests and dinosaurs, so that's our entry point and our hatchery, and just a little bit of exhibit work. I didn't do too much on the exhibits because, frankly, it's a little difficult for me in the Sierra Nevada map. Let me know if you have any tips and tricks to make the exhibits feel special, you know, with the limited terrain tools that we have in this specific map. And the very last step was placing these remote viewing galleries, which look really cool. And here we have the Pyroraptors into our parks, and I can't wait to show you what the Pyroraptor Braid looks like. Now, what inspired me to build a Pyroraptor Braid is actually this colorful plumage, which reminded me of like the Brazilian carnival and those big parades that they do over there, so I wanted to use that. Now here the parade hasn't started yet, so it's still empty. There are two ways to get the dinosaurs to do the parade. One of them I already incorporated, and that is putting water on one side and food on the other side, which sort of forces the dinosaurs to go back and forth. The other method, and the more exciting method, is to use the wrangling mechanic that is brought into the game as of the previous update, and it's just really fun to do. It works very well, and it's just an easy way to get all of the Pyroraptors very easily into the parade section of the exhibit, and it's just a fun activity for you to do, and it creates this really fun situation on the parade that you just created. And in Sandbox, this wrangling works on both carnivores and herbivores, so as I said earlier on in this video, you can do this idea with any species that you want. I've already previously in the first game built a Parasaurolophus parade. Look, your girl loves a good alliteration, so that's clearly what is happening here as well. But yeah, you can do this with any species, and I think it's just really cool. And also from an in-universe perspective, I think this is very cool for your guests to go visit in your park, a dinosaur parade, where as opposed to trying to spot them in this huge exhibit that you built for them, on set times of the day, there's just this show where they're guaranteed to see some exciting dinosaur action, like firing flares at them, apparently. This is just something I like to do to get really cool screenshots. I might have used one as the thumbnail, but just a little tip I want to throw in for you dinosaur photography enthusiasts, that this is a really cool thing to do in the game to get really cool photographs. I hope that you enjoyed this Pyroraptor Parade speed build. If you did, give the video a like. Thank you so much for watching, liking, subscribing, and until next time, enjoy the game.